Deep down, if you see, if you live around nature, you can add 10 years to your life. Fresh air.
For me, yoga means yoga that we all, I feel that I live it to a major extent.
I did a cycle trip from Kathmandu to Kumari, 6,900 kilometers.
I think it's a very caring part in India as compared to the Western world, how the family comes around to protect the mother when she's having her baby, how the chachis and the kakis, and they all come and they take such good care, I think, and it's all pretty much closed.
Overall, yes, woman has been integral part of sannyas in India. And in every, like Buddhism, Jainism.
There's always a seeker in me wanting to evolve, maybe get better. I think I don't know enough yet. I think Uttarakhand had a very major part of my childhood. And but I think living here, we are very humble. I think I was in an ashram which was with my mother, others. So Seva was a part of our being. I think I carried that with me wherever I went. Yoga, अब सब लोग योगा के बारे में बात करते हैं, but when I think about it, we did yoga since we were small. My parents do yoga every day of their lives. Pranayam, yoga, ये सब बचपन में ही सीखा था, तो I didn't think it was anything that special as they talk about today. For me, yoga means yoga that we all, I feel that I live it to a major extent, and I think reaching out to women, it could have been children, dogs, animals, camels. I mean, I'm involved with camels too. It's every living being. So I'm involved with a lot of tribal communities, ladies, Bhil, as they say, in Rajsaman. It so happened to be Bhil ladies because they were the forgotten tribe. And I happened to be there and noticed them and gave them a voice of being recognized and got involved with the government so that we could reach out. And I have to say the government has been very supportive, maybe because of the titles and the names that one carries has been of some help. And hence it all worked to the fact that I could do a lot more than by stepping out and sitting inside. And things started moving. If I called the collector and said that, why is this lady on the ground? Why does she not have an Aadhaar card? Or why is she not joining the Narega? She's not getting her daily wages. So I think we moved, it's over 10 years now. I've been involved in different parts of Rajasthan. It stretched out. So a lot of people thought I'm the Bhil girl who's interested in the Bhils, and I said, no, it's not about the Bhils alone. It's a tribal community, which is a tribal, which is older than one of the oldest tribes, which is known as the Bhils. I only found out more about them. Well, they fought battles with the kings and the rulers, and they lived with the guerrilla warfare. And from of our crest, we have the Bhils standing with us. So it's very sad that they are, not were. Really, the women are in a very bad state. They cut wood, they live. Therefore, conservation was another thing which I realized, that they were living off the forest, and therefore we've gone into non-timber produce, from honey to custard apple, local indigenous plants. We worked with seed collection, because I'm talking about the khejri, the Chipko movement, which was actually in Uttarakhand. Yeah, the hugging of the trees. And then there was something with the khejri, which happened with the Bishnois, which was Amrita Devi of the Bishnoi tribe. And I kind of realized that the tribals were so involved with the forest, and we must bring that out and talk about it. So the Bishnoi is slightly stronger, more outgoing tribes than the Bhils. And the Bhils, I'm talking of very small areas. Anyway, coming back, Uttarakhand has been my grandfather who's worked in forest areas. He was actually a timber guy called Thakur Dancing Dish. He built one of the biggest universities called Degree College, DSZ College in Nainital. He also believed in skilling women and further education. And I realized in Rajasthan there were not many women barely completing the 8th class or even going to school. And Nana had schools, colleges, which is the biggest now, called the Degree College or the Kumari University. It didn't seem that new to me as the question that you're asking, Paris and others, which was, I had seen seen this kind of stuff since I was small. So it's not replicating Uttarakhand and Rajasthan, but basically reaching out to far beyond backward areas.
See, most of the time, if you see history, you see one side, we have the Mesopotamia civilization, Indus civilization, and here was, beside this mountain Himalayas, we had this country called India. It's a very, very deep study if you do. Nature is very harsh. If you go to the Uttarakhand mountains, there's no proper roads. Nature is very hard, like when you have the sun during the summers, it's very strong. One. B, opportunity. Now, if there's a shop there, there's only, like, I have visited this area. There are places which has 200 family living, the whole area, 50 family living, whole area. So in the mountains, you cannot grow that kind of population. And because the life is so tough there, so people move out. But here I have to say something. Where is creativity? In a 4-bedroom wall or looking at the mountains? Where can be happiness? 4-bedroom walls or the mountains? Where you can feel expansion of your being? 4 walls or outside? So civilization moved, but consciousness did not move that fast as we grew in population. मतलब भौतिक जो ज्ञान है ना, भौतिक, वो छोटा पड़ गया, आर्थिक ज्ञान हमारा बड़ा हो गया. Whenever the materialistic mind dominates the society, then there is a revolution, because they will break free. Now see what is happening worldwide. So जहाँ तक बात है कि माउंटेन से लोग उधर क्यों जा रहे हैं, क्योंकि वहाँ बहुत टफ लाइफ है और वहाँ जीने के लिए बहुत एनर्जी चाहिए भाई. सुबह उठना है, गाय को पानी देना है, चारा डालना है, you have to go give cows, then you have to go to the farm, and then you have to go to the water body from where chakki will move, because of which your atta will be made. So it's a full time. So people think so much hard work for what? So mental mind sometimes thinks so, that kind of thing. But deep down, if you see, if you live around nature, you can add 10 years to your life. Fresh air. Fresh air. लोग भूल गए हैं कि प्राण वायु लेना है, polluted वायु नहीं लेना है. You know, so such places needs to be promoted very deeply, that it's okay to even have a, what do you call, holiday home, where 3 months in a year you go and spend.
Neem Karoli Babaji tha Rajapeke, Anand Mahi. So the day I had the privilege of actually seeing them when I was very small. But we just, at least for my children, I always wanted them to be in the hills or be outdoors, because we've just moved so far away from nature. And when I talk of indigenous plants, is we don't even have care sandri जो अपने राजस्थान में बनती थी, वो अब मिलती नहीं. वो जो खेजड़ी, I'm talking about the Chipko movement, because that tree that people fought for and now really does, because it's not such a big cash crop. Khejri jo hum bajra, now people are talking of millet, but it was part of life. So when I kind of think that we've gone so far away in my lifetime. I see it's almost extinct or finished. You don't see those plants, you don't see the birds. I was looking at the sparrows today just before coming out from home. There was a huge wind and some of the eggs fell, and I was really sad, because I was like, I can't imagine that we are talking about sparrows not being as commonly seen. That's because of the concrete jungles that we have, and we do not have chicks, and we do not have grains in our backyards like we did. So there's a lot of species and animals that lived with us, along with us. So we are part of it. We have to kind of go back to it.
Yes.
Rajasthan, Kumaon is very free. I think it's more people in the society, women are more, I think they are stuck with a lot more rituals.
Right.
Maybe because it was a warring state. There was a lot of Mughal invasions and wars and fights, and a lot of the customs and became more of a gungat and a wheel. And
of course, let's not. So Sati was a pratha well built in certain sector of the warrior society. So when the attack used to come from the other king, the queens, they would be attacked after that. So they would jump in the fire and give their life so that they said that we can't be captured.
Coming back to the remote areas of Kumaon and Garhwal Himalayas, again, Nana had set up areas from dispensaries and others which was in remote areas. Rajasthan is also very vast. We had
Very vast.
very vast, long desert areas, Aravallis, rocky mountains, not very easily. Mobility is an issue, especially for women. And then when they are covered in veils and caught with a whole bunch of other rituals, it becomes very tough for them to actually.
And everything is very far there.
Yes.
You know.
Very similar.
Yeah, because I did a cycle trip from Kathmandu to Kanyakumari, 6,900 kilometers.
Wow.
So I crossed the whole of Rajasthan. I was just sharing with her when we were talking. And the roads are really bad there.
Yeah, roads.
Those days when I had gone. Now it has much better.
Instead of.
And single roads were a lot. There were a lot of single roads.
So when I talk about women, instead of them coming to us, we reached out to them and we got involved with the resource centers, which is with the government, working in remote areas of Rajasthan, where there are all different communities, basically the left out women who themselves get together, decide what to do, and they have areas to work in. And the government is working very closely with them. And now we have a Rajivika, which is a government body of women, which is over 6 lakh women working in Rajasthan together. And the tribal ladies are at top of, which started with one girl, Meera, who used to sing in the mountains alone, is now 500 families that have gotten together. We have combined with private NGOs from Darpan and a whole bunch of others that are there. We kind of work with custard apple, which is indigenous. Then there's Care, Sangri, all the indigenous plants of ecosystems of each of these regions. And Rajasthan has many different, from desert to Aravalli to arid to, obviously not wetlands, not too much of that.
Not much.
You have that. Very different from Uttarakhand, where we had abundance of rivers flowing. Go out and you see this river and say, wow. Because there you're looking at how to conserve water. Especially now that we go into summers, it's a big deal. But it's also a learning of how these women can live with, they wash their utensils with sand and with just a bucket of water. And you see a shower, put my shower on, think, God, this is criminal, because they are surviving with just matkas of water. And I don't want to talk about water so much because everybody, the whole world knows that, so it's nothing, something new.
But water will be an issue in coming time worldwide.
It's huge.
It's a huge issue.
It's a big topic. So a lot of the men move to bigger cities and towns to get work and jobs, and they're like the coast villages where there are only women left behind alone.
That's true.
It's in Uttarakhand as well, and we have that in certain areas of Rajasthan. So it just so happens that these women are not abandoned because they're on their own. They're very elderly older women too. So that's how I got involved with as much as one could but I have to say the government support has been massive and we've been able to really move things around in a good way.
Mata Badi is here. Huge number of ladies here. They live in other ashrams. So we have male areas where the male Babas live. But there's also area where Matas live, hundreds and thousands of them. So that's all ingrained. But they don't come out much because they have a very strict ritual to follow certain chants.
It's almost like a Hindu culture.
Yes.
Women don't, it's not very common for the woman to actually step out and talk about it.
These days you see some female Babas now on WhatsApp and Twitter and everywhere. But overall, yes, woman has been integral part of sannyas in India, and in every, like Buddhism, Jainism, Hinduism, everywhere. We have 9 darsanas, so we have 9 kind of people with different belief live in this India. We had a time when Charvaks ruled. Charvak matlab there is no God. Charvak का base statement है किसी से उधार लेकर के भी लस्सी घी पियो. So एक पर्सपेक्टिव है सोचने का चारवाक का Even if you have to rent out money from someone, there is no God up there. Just enjoy here and go. So that's Charvak. And we had strong Charvak also in India at one point of time. And we had the movement by the Buddhists, we had the movement with the Jainis, Mahavira came. So,
Brahma Kumaris,
ha,
Rajasthan.
Ji, Brahma Kumari is another organization.
It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to step out and talk about everything one does. For example, Instagram, I don't think I'm there showing everything I do. I don't think if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's probably the way we are brought up, maybe. I don't know. It kind of goes against. हमारे यहाँ राजस्थान में तो women stayed inside the house. We were at our hands covered. We didn't go out to shop either. Everything came to our house at one time. So Instagram is like a big thing for. So I'm just saying that's personally, it's a personal feeling. It doesn't mean every woman needs to step out and show everything she does. And even if she doesn't mean she's not out there. Just because she's not seen.
No, perfect. But that's a fair question, and at least now you know that yes, there are many and they live. So like you will see that there is more than 1 crore Babas. Where do they come in the Kumbh Mela? From how much this many 1 crore people who are sannyasis? How do they come? Throughout the year, they stay in every part of India. Like Uttarakhand is one of the places where more are there because it's scary. See, you want aloofness for the prayer, because you have decided now to leave your clothes, get into orange robe and live by the orange robe for the rest of your life. So you have disidentified yourself from layman's thinking. So you want to now achieve something for which you took that.
It's your
Stance.
own personal choice,
Yes.
I guess.
Yes.
When you're doing
Yes.
sadhana, maybe you need your own space.
Yes.
It probably works for women too, maybe when they are with their children. I think it's a very caring part in India as compared to the Western world, how the family comes around to protect the mother when she's having her baby, how the chachis and the kakis, and they all come and they take such good care, I think, and it's all pretty much closed. You don't step out, बालों में तेल लगाते, मालिश होती है रोज, खाना अलग बनता है. I mean, we are pampered. I think that's lovely. And I look at the Western world when I see a woman with children working, caring for her little child, going through all that physical stuff on her own. And I wonder which is better. I think that's...
There's always a calling.
There's a calling. Maybe I'm always seeking, which is why I'm here to meet आप सबके साथ इसीलिए आई हूँ मैं कि कुछ और सीखने को मिलेगा. So there's always a seeker in me wanting to evolve, maybe get better. I think I don't know enough yet. It has been a beautiful journey and experience, and it's a combination of different whatever I was exposed to with God's grace. जिंदगी दियो है.
She said it's like a calling.
This is my life. If it means to be with women, if it means to talk about yoga, if it means to talk about the Himalayas, it's embedded. It's life. I think for each one, everybody here too, it will be very similar for everybody to think the same.
Rani Shweta